Hi guys. I said I was going to do a get ready with me. I'm sorry. I'm holding the phone, which is never a good idea. But wanted to do this real quick. I'm probably going to sneeze if I do. I'm sorry. I also don't have a waterproof mascara. Not the right day to do that. But let me tell you, this is a Stila. Can't remember the name of it. Other than that, it's by Stila. Really like it. Really, really like it. We're just going to kind of go with this because I can't. Yeah, that'll work. You got a little thumb stuff, or, hand happening on this side. Oh, well. Um, I had said that I was going to do a get ready with me, and earlier, whenever I did this look, that's what I intended to do. However, time got away from me, and this look was not as easy as you think it would have been. um, it was one of those that we just kept having to get another palette to fix that with. Um, but I had said earlier on Twitter, sorry, um, it's still Kentucky, still allergies, still yuck. Um, I had said that I would tell the jerk story. Now, whenever I tell you this story, understand it was not funny at all when it happened. It's funny for me, in an embarrassing kind of funny. It's still not funny for my husband, okay? um, I've told you before, and I know this is shaky, and I'm sorry. I'm probably about 30 minutes away from a full-blown migraine. I've already started taking my cocktail. I'll be fine. But, maintaining certain things is just not quite so easy. But here we go. I told you that in the course of our marriage, um, we filed for divorce, I believe twice, literally filed for divorce. We separated more times than that. And one of the times that um, we had filed for divorce, um, we went through the normal procedure that you do when you're getting divorced. I got my own bank account. He took me off of the joint banking account because that's what you do. That's a smart man move. That's a smart person move. Taking my shoes off because, sorry, this is just going to be, got to kind of get a little more cozy. Anyway, so we had done that, and we actually had been living separately and decided to reconcile. Well, when we did, part of the reconciliation was going back to having a joint account again. Well, me being me and having my little hot temper, because that's where this goes. See, y'all don't realize, and because I still have trouble with my temper. I have to rein it in, and I have to keep it in check because it's just the way that it is. I'm a human being. I don't always keep the way that I come on here and am cool and collected and all that stuff most of the time. That's work. That's work. So anyway, I'm going to just lay my head back here on the headboard. You see, if you're curious, that's my Bible, journal, cookbooks. Don't ask me why they're in here and not in the kitchen. This is where I look at them. Anyway, so in the course of this, before we had reconciled, he had ordered checks. And, we're talking, this has been, oh my gosh, over 20 years ago, close to 30 years ago. Well, yeah, over 30, because Jessica's 35. And she was 4, I think, give or take. Anyway, so he had ordered checks before we got back together, or maybe right at the time that we decided to reconcile. Anyway, What had not happened was I was not put back on the bank account. Here's the reason why. I never went with him to the bank. Okay? But on this one particular day, because what we used to do in the housing area that we lived in, all of us would wake up in the morning, make a pot of coffee, and we'd let our children play until we consumed all of the coffee and generally made another pot. So, while we're sitting there, the mail came, and he handed me my mail, and it just so happened to be that box of checks. Goodness. Just thinking about this is so ridiculous. It's so not even worth it, being angry over. But I was, because when I looked at the box of checks, in my mind, I was thinking that I was magically going to be on those checks. Well, I was not on that account. So whenever he ordered those checks, my name wasn't on there. Well, me being me, I hopped up, all upset, asked one of the neighbors if they'd keep an eye on my daughter, hopped in my truck, drove across town, across post. Fort Knox had tanks back then. That was back in the good old days. Anyway, I drove over to the motor pool, and it just so happened where he was parked. I kind of blocked him in with my truck. I had a beautiful blue Dodge Dakota 5-speed V8. That sucker would rock and roll. Anyway, so, and I didn't do this very often because I just don't mess with his work. I don't go to where he works very often. He's at work. That's just how we do things. It's how I was raised. We very seldom ever went to my dad's work. I very seldom ever went to my mother's work. That was work. So I get there. I park my truck, blocking all kinds, anybody else that may have tried to come in that way. But, young and dumb, way young and dumb, I walk into the motor pool. Well, whenever I get in there, they point me to where he is. And I didn't know he was working on a vehicle, and he was having trouble working on it. And he was mad already over the vehicle. So whenever he seen me, he just looked up at me, and in his already aggravated state, he was like, well, what are you doing here? Okay? That was all it took. Because like I told y'all, hot temper. I slung that box of checks at him, and I turned around and walked out. Mad as fire. I mean mad. Ridiculous. I'll be the first one to tell you, ridiculous. But mad as fire. I mean, just hot mad. Well, I had a head start because he had to pick up all the checks. And it's funny to me, kind of, but it's really not, because it's embarrassing. I wasn't raised to behave like that. But anyway, so I walked past he had a white Blazer then. Sucker would climb a tree. I'm talking 4-wheel drive like you would not believe. Anyway, so I walked on over to get into my truck, and it hits my mind that I needed to leave a little message for him. Okay, I didn't know exactly how far behind me he was, but I knew that at some point he was going to come home. Well, I also thought at a motor pool that they'd have window cleaner. Okay? The only thing that, and this happened faster than I'm telling you this story, but it happened that I had an Estee Lauder red lipstick in the passenger side of my Dakota. And in big, I'm talking windshield size letters, I wrote jerk across the front of his truck. It's so, oh my gosh, I just cannot believe why we are still together has to be love, because we have done some of the dumbest things to each other in 36 years of being together. But anyway, I hopped in my truck. I came on home because, you know, I was done. That was all I made my statement. I was done. Well, I pull in at home. We resumed drinking coffee, and, you know, I'd kind of started to forget about it. Well, the next thing I know, he comes pulling in. He's maybe 10 minutes behind me, 15, whatever. You hear something purring, Sarge's in my lap. So the first thing that I notice is that the red lipstick is still on his windshield. Ladies and gentlemen, I was in a lot of trouble. I still can't believe to this day that I actually did it. It just hit my mind, and it was done, and I was in the truck coming home. But anyway, come to find out, they didn't have any window cleaner. Number one. Number two, he was too hot to worry about it until he got home. So basically what happened is this man that I'm married to, that still loves me for some reason, and I love him tremendously, had to drive all the way across Fort Knox with jerk written on his windshield in red lipstick. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 some odd years later, we are still together. Let me tell you something. When my mama prays, heaven pays attention. I told y'all I'd share this with you. I want to keep it kind of short because also, you know, that whole migraine thing, and I had to leave church and I wanted to watch the live stream. So, y'all have a great day. Remember, I'm the mayor's daughter, and on this day, 7 years ago, I buried my hero. Y'all have a great day. Remember, I love you, and I'll see you. Bye. And this is the jerk story. And yes, it's embarrassing. Ladies, don't do that. Just don't do that. It's not a good look. It's not good behavior. Just don't do it. Don't do it. You will never, ever, ever not be embarrassed by it. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.